What's up guys, Jack here, and today we're going to be covering how you can validate your niches and check competition for niches in your print-on-demand business or your t-shirt business. And basically, I'm going to show you guys how I personally check competition to make sure that there's not too much competition, or really to decide if I'm going to go into a niche or not. So obviously when you're checking a niche, it's going to be very dependent also on how you're running your t-shirt business. If you're making a t-shirt business or a print-on-demand business with a separate website or a separate store, then the way you look at niches through these marketplaces that I'm going to show you that are print-on-demand marketplaces may help, but ultimately there are better ways probably for you, and I'm going to show them later in the video. However, the first ways that I'm going to show of checking competition in niches is through the marketplaces of other print-on-demand websites. And the first example I'm going to go with is Redbubble. So say you have a niche idea of some sort and you want to see how many results are in there, and when you see how many results are in a niche, you can really get an idea for the competition, at least on that platform. And what I like to do is when I have a niche idea or I want to check competition without using any other tools, I just basically copy and paste the niche into the search bar and search and see what comes up. So if we were going to do something like basketball, obviously when we look it up, there's going to be 149,000 results. So I'm not going to want to go into something that is 149,000 results. Or if I do, I'm going to want a sub niche, and then you can kind of also find niches by doing this, because you can find sub niches of a niche. So that's another idea. But that's one way you can look for niches and check competition. And now let's go grab something that isn't as competitive, that I'm going to grab from a Redbubble trend website. So over here on Bubble Trends, I'm just gonna take this niche of copies my Valentine, and I know it says 4,300 results on Redbubble, but what we're gonna do is take a trend on Redbubble, and because it's a popular search term, people are searching for it, and we're gonna use another marketplace to see the competition over there on a different marketplace. Okay, so I went over to Etsy and I copied and pasted the same search term. Coffee is my Valentine. I added shirt at the end because there are some Etsy people sell graphics for certain designs like this one right here, but you're gonna see only 800 results compared to 4,800. So that's a really good opportunity and a really good idea for you guys. If you are looking for low competition niches, take a niche that's selling on one platform and check it on the other one, because a lot of the times there's gonna be a lot less competition, because especially trends that start on Redbubble, they are more prominently used on Redbubble. And just to make another example, say you come over here and you want to search for your niche, you can also do it on Etsy. So basketball shirt, obviously this is probably a bit skewed because there's actual basketball jerseys, but you're going to see 29,000 results. Obviously not as, low competition as I would like to enter. So that's another way you can check niches. Use the marketplaces, and the marketplaces are going to really point you in the right direction to see if there's much there. And you can see if there's demand for a niche, because 29,000 results say there's a lot of demand for a niche. And one thing I really like about Etsy is that you can click on these designs and you can see if people have them in their cart or if people have bought them. So you can see right here in the reviews, there's 2 reviews on this shirt alone. They are from like a year or 2 years ago, but people have bought this shirt before, and it might not be selling as much anymore because you can't really see if it's in anyone's cart. But it has sold in the past, and it is a design that is selling. So that's an idea that you could branch out of, or you could really validate to see, okay, people will buy this type of thing, or people will buy things in this niche like basketball jokes, and then you can go along with your validation of your niche that you were thinking about going into. So the third website that I use, and I use this website because these are the 3 websites I actually upload to very frequently: TeePublic, Redbubble, and Etsy. Those 3 are the 3 that I use a lot. Merch by Amazon is a great platform, but I am not actually currently on Merch by Amazon. There's a long story behind that. I have videos on it, but I would suggest using Merch by Amazon, and I'm going to show you guys a free search tool you can use to check your competition over there. But TeePublic is another one where you can search up a design, see how many things are on here, and boom, we're going to see that there are 50 pages. It doesn't actually say the number, but 50 pages means there's a lot, so obviously we're not going to want to deal with that. But if we go over here and put Coffee is my Valentine over on TeePublic, once again 50 pages, so a lot of designs. And this is because Redbubble is very similar to TeePublic, so the people who post to Redbubble most of the time, majority of the time, post to TeePublic as well. So now with that being said, let's go look at the free search tool for Merch by Amazon and checking your competition over there. Alright, and now I'm going to head over to Merch Researcher, which is where I am right now. And this is just a free tool that anyone can use. It's by Merch Informer. They're a really good company. I'm going to show you guys another tool with Merch Informer in a second. But you can go over here. It's just their free search tool. If you look up Amazon free search tool by Merch Informer, it's going to pop up. I'll link it down in the description. And what I'm going to do is put in Coffee is My Valentine. And I did have it on US and t-shirt because that's what I want to look for, just t-shirts. And up in the top left, make sure you're delivering to United States so you can see all the options that are in the United States. Otherwise, it's not going to pop up with any t-shirts by Merch by Amazon. So while we're here, you're going to see 358 results. That's not many on all of Amazon, which is a way bigger platform than the other ones we just covered. There are far fewer results for Coffee is My Valentine. And if we go look, these designs aren't anything crazy. And this is actually validation that you could probably put a Coffee is My Valentine design on Merch by Amazon and see really not that much competition. And sometimes when you go to the next page, the number of results will change. But in our case, it did not change. And I believe this is actually true to the amount of results. And only 358 results in a niche that is this saturated on other platforms just shows that you should definitely check multiple platforms when you're deciding competition of a niche. And in the case that you check all these platforms and your niche is golden on every single one, then definitely go ahead and go for it because you have so much less competition. And all that you really want to make sure is that there is some competition to know that there's demand for that product. But if you're posting on platforms like Redbubble or TeePublic or even Merch by Amazon and you have the slots on Merch by Amazon, then it's absolutely free, so it's not really going to hurt you to test things out. And testing is how you learn, so definitely I do encourage that. And with that being said, let's go move on to the very last way to check competition of niches on your niches. Alright, so here I am on my Merch Informer account. If you guys want to try this tool out, you can get it for 3 free days if you sign up with the link down below. And there's a 20% off lifetime coupon. It is my coupon. So if you want to use that, go ahead. I believe it's $10 a month, and with the 20% off, it's about $8 a month for life. And then Coffee is My Valentine, we're going to put it into the competition checker on Merch Informer. And if you look on the left hand side here, we're under competition checker. You put in Coffee is My Valentine. I believe we need to put it in quotes though for it to be processed as one keyword. Then we can search in the marketplace we want, and this is actually querying through Merch by Amazon. So when it brings up the results, you have to remember that these are Merch by Amazon based. However, 9 times out of 10, they do apply pretty well to other platforms. And if you want to double check another platform, just copy and paste your search term or the term you're searching here onto the other platforms to see the amount of results like we did earlier. That is a very effective way to double check if it's worth your time. But if you're making a design for Merch by Amazon, it's not really going to hurt you to upload it to the other platforms, and you can always go back and do so later. And this does take a while to load, so I'll be back when it does load. And it loaded. So Coffee is My Valentine, total score is an A. An A is the best grade you can get. There are 422 products on the market and 15 products with a BSR. And you're going to see here, here's the thing about Merch Informer Research Tool is it's not always that accurate in terms of the best sellers, because a lot of our keywords like coffee were substituted for pizza. However, this is still a really good niche, and it's showing us that Is My Valentine is a niche in itself. Because look at all these great ideas, tacos, cats. So it actually expands the options you have, and because this is a long search term, sometimes it gets confused. But if you want to see all the other designs for Coffee is My Valentine, you can do what we did earlier, and this even shows more niche ideas and more evidence that, well, it's not that competitive. At least the coffee one isn't that competitive. We checked that over on the free search tool, only 328 results. And the Is My Valentine niche in general is pretty darn good, considering there are bestsellers, many bestsellers with low BSRs in this niche. So the competition might be fierce in some of these other categories like pizza, because I can see there's a lot of pizza ones, but you can expand over to other categories and use the free search tools to see if those ones are selling, if those ones are active. And real quick, before we end the video, I want to go back over to the free search tool and note the BSRs of the Coffee is My Valentine shirts too. Alright, so I went ahead and I searched for the results that come up for Coffee is My Valentine, and I actually had to change tabs to a non-incognito window because this is something that you guys are going to find really useful too, is that there is a tool called DS Amazon Quick View, and it lets you see the bestseller ratings of shirts basically while you're scrolling down, and you're going to see here there are shirts with sales, and this one 470,000. That means it has made sales really recently, and we're not even at Valentine's Day yet, so these sales are going to pick up. And seeing that a lot of these shirts have sales, even some of them, they definitely made sales last year, they've been up for a while, but a lot of these shirts, 500,000, are seeing sales, and there's not that much competition, and the amount of sales these shirts are seeing are going to go up as we get closer to Valentine's Day, probably within the next like 3 weeks. Obviously you need to remember that when you're doing competition based things. Seasonal things like Valentine's Day are obviously going to change. And now we pretty much passed the point where our search term is even relevant, and now even those 328 results, a lot of them aren't even relevant to our search term, so those aren't going to be the designs that people are looking for when they search up our search terms. So you can probably take that 320 or 350 and definitely take a few off, and you're going to see as we're scrolling down, many of these shirts have sales. And even though these sales are probably from last year, you can see when it was posted January 24th 2020, this made sales within like a few weeks of it being posted because they posted it a little bit too close to Valentine's Day. But the competition wise, it's gonna resurge in the coming weeks because Valentine's Day is coming back up, and this is a great way to see the competition of a shirt and if it's selling. Because if a shirt's not selling, even if your niche is so low competition, there's no competition, if no one's buying it, if no one's interested in that, if there's no customer base, then there's not really a point of entering that niche. So find a niche, make sure it's low enough competition, and then this is a great way, bestseller rating, at least on Amazon, to see if people are buying it. Because if it has a low bestseller rating or any bestseller rating, it means it has made a sale in the past at some point. So that is a good indication that people actually want. Alright guys, I hope that helped you in some way, and if it did, please smash the like button. But with all that being said, it's been your friend Jack. Stay blessed, keep striving, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.